that means that hundreds of students have degrees in hand or are about to.
Yeah. How do they make the best financial decisions, though, for the next step in their lives? Financial advisor Rob Wilson is here with some advice for grads. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah, it's great to see you. This is the time of year. Everybody's got that diploma. They're ready to rush out. They've just been taunted by all the credit card companies in college, and now they've got to make some decisions on their own.
You're right. Graduation really marks a monumental event for most people because it marks a significant turning point in most of our lives. But along with those big turning points, we're presented with some big decisions to make. But I think with a little planning, a little foresight, you can really make the best of those decisions from a financial perspective.
When it comes to the cost of higher education, we have seen it skyrocket for the last decades. It's been going higher and higher and higher. How do you decide how much should you pay for college education in terms of putting money into it?
Yeah, there's really no debate whatsoever that education is critically important. So if you take a look at the unemployment rates, overall unemployment rate right now is about 9%, but for college graduates, it's only 5%. Even though that's at a historic high, it's much lower than for those individuals that don't have a college degree. So it's critically important, but the debate is how you get that education and how much you should pay. So generally a rule of thumb is that you should really pay or take out in loans no more than your starting salary. If you take out more than that, you're going to have a difficulty paying those college loans back. And you have to start to think about whether college is the best investment. The United States has the highest college dropout rate in the world. So about 50% of people that start as a freshman actually end up with bachelor's degrees. The costs have risen much faster than inflation. And in fact, over the past 10 years, it's been about 5.6 more than inflation. So alternative experiences may cost less. I mean, dropping out of college didn't hurt Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. And actually, there's a famous billionaire right now, Peter Thiel, who founded PayPal and is also an early investor in Facebook, is giving $100,000 to 20 entrepreneurs under the age of 20 to start businesses instead of going to college. So I think, maybe you need to rethink the process a little bit.
Now, when it comes to high school grads versus college grads, there are differences in age, obviously, differences in points of their lives and things that they need to accomplish. So what kind of advice would you give for high school grads first?
I think if you're coming out of high school, you really have to think about this college thing as a business. So you're going to take out a significant amount of money, and let's not forget that student loans cannot be discharged in bankruptcy. So it's a very big investment that you have to plan for. You need to study the earning potential of careers that you think you want to follow, and that'll help you figure out whether you'll be able to pay your loans back and how easy that's going to be to pay those loans. If cost is a factor, you might want to think about going to a 2-year school and then transferring to, let's just call it, a more brand name school. So that's where you get your degree from. You can really cut down the cost, but you do have to make sure that those credits are going to transfer. And if you're coming out of high school, make sure that you take advantage of internships. How are you going to know what you really want to do if you haven't experienced some of these jobs in the real world? So get out there, do some internships, and that'll help you figure out which direction you want to go.
Well, when you're talking or looking at the advice for college graduates, is it different than what you give to those high school kids?
Yeah, it's a little bit different because they've been successful and they finally graduated. So now they are going out into the real world. And so there's some things that they're going to want to put in place. First of all, I think you should keep your expenses low. You just got out of college. You're used to eating ramen noodles. So don't go out and buy a big house and a big car. The less obligations you have, the more options you'll leave for yourself. So if you want to go back to school at some point, if you want to maybe start a business, a lot easier to do that if you haven't amassed a lot of obligations. Also think about starting a Roth IRA. That's after-tax money that you put into a retirement vehicle. It can simultaneously help you save for retirement and also be your, kind of tell your boss where to go money, as I call it. Think about buying disability insurance. You want to insure your biggest asset at that point, which is your ability to work. And the last thing is really pursue and do what you love. If you do what you love, you'll be much more successful. You'll make more money. And if you're doing what you love, ultimately, you won't really work a day in your life.
That sounds great, doesn't it? All right. Rob, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Rob Wilson with us on Thursdays on Pittsburgh CW, talking about the financial matters that matter most to you.